hadn't always lived high on the hog, as some referred to her. She too once lived on the other side of the tracks. However, due to the untimely and embarrassing death of one of her longtime friends, wealthy Mother Eternal, her station in life had changed dramatically. Mother Eternal had succumbed to a heart attack while clutching a cash register. It was attached to the pulpit. Her generosity left Sister Betty with more money than she'd ever had, and more problems than she'd ever imagined. Sister Betty had lived in Pelzer, South Carolina since her early 20s, and ever since that time, with her well-documented, though mostly self-proclaimed experiences with God, she'd also gained something of a reputation as God's go-to woman. She eventually became Pelzer's moral compass. She was the official, though barely appreciated, chief negotiator with heaven. Just barely 5'2", she gained some weight over the years, and only old photographs testified of a younger Sister Betty, who'd been a well-proportioned, brown-skinned beauty. Now her shoulders were slightly stooped as she struggled to bear the burdens of others. She was also the chief prayer intercessor in her church prayer team of 2. Just her and her longtime friend and neighbor, Ma Seal, were left. Out of what started as a team of 5 women praying, 3 had dropped out from exhaustion. So Sister Betty and Ma Seal would double up on praying, and of course, they'd do it on a daily basis. Now Ma Seal, hospitalized by a stroke, was no longer available. But Sister Betty pressed on as she stood in the gap for her people. So, when she saw her name and the lie about her running against a woman who some believed was truly a spawn of Satan, she wanted to know, where was her God? Sister Betty didn't have to wait long for hell to break loose. If she wasn't going to it, it would come to her. And hell had no problem coming to church. It never had. It came to a head the following day after the church service. No matter how saved she claimed to be, things got so bad that morning, it was all Sister Betty could do not to put down her Bible and pick up a brick in defense. She'd barely put her hand down from repeating the benediction when it happened. She thought that since no one had mentioned the headline in the blab, that God had taken care of the situation. But if he was going to do it, he hadn't yet. Current Mother's Board president and resident terrorist, Sasha Pray Onn, nicknamed Mother Terminator, and Vice President B. Blister, called Mother Rambo behind her back, confronted Sister Betty in the downstairs fellowship hall. They'd read the blab and took offense to her running for office of president of the Mother's Board. They'd planned on attending the upcoming Mother's Board conference in Las Vegas unchallenged. As they blocked her exit, the 2 old women reminded Sister Betty that even before the Ain't Nobody Right But Us, All Others Goin to Hell church disbanded and was absorbed into the Crossing Over Sanctuary Temple Diocese, they'd created and made the Mother's Board what it was. Mothers B and Sasha had headed the chaotic geriatric auxiliary and had no intention of relinquishing their positions. Ever. "We aren't stepping aside for you, the Reverend Leotis Tom, the Taliban, or the United States President," Sasha boasted. "And you can believe that," B added. These 2 old she-warriors were serious. They would have gone so far as to ask God for his ID before they'd move aside. Sasha and B were so cantankerous that even old Satan wouldn't battle with them without the Lord on his side. With a toss of their heads, B and Sasha backed out of the fellowship hall with their eyes still trained on Sister Betty. Sister Betty hadn't gotten a chance to refute the blab's falsehood. Instead of speaking up when there was a moment of sanity and silence, she didn't. She had a chance to leave the hall in one piece, so she took it. Arriving back at her home, Sister Betty changed her clothes and went into her living room to think and pray. Seated in her favorite recliner, her feet propped up on an ottoman, she laid her head back. She tried to meditate, hoping it would help her come up with a plan. She shifted her legs on the ottoman, and her bony arthritic knees crunched like they were made of aluminum foil. And of course she knew that those aching sides